Now we have this fair value gap. But I don't really think anything is very high probability right now. But we did respect that this fair value gap. So let's see if we can create another fair value gap on this leg here. And if we do, then I think that fair value gap will be the one to bring us in the sell side. If we could make another one. So like here, if we make a fair value gap right here, somewhere, I'll be looking at that one to have us run in the sell side. So my attention is right here now, watching that fair value gap. I think if we want to drop it, it will use this fair value gap. That's just my humble opinion. See if we respect it, which we do. Body closes inside. Same on the 30-second. So you see how the bodies are respecting the fair value gap. So even though the wicks came all the way up here, the bodies are still respecting it. So I think it's still likely that we'll run for sell side. But I do want to see some displacement lower here, either on this candle or the next one, because I don't want to see us sitting around this area for too long, especially during a macro time. So I think we should start seeing some displacement here soon. We have a volume imbalance. I want to see if we can close below that and then use it as a form of resistance if we can close below it. See? Poked above it and then closed inside. So this is why it's important to pay attention to the bodies. But I need to see us start like moving down pretty soon if we're gonna drop lower. 'Cause I think we're sitting around this area for a little too long. I don't like how we keep going all the way up here and then coming back down. And it's already been like 4 minutes since we hit this fair value gap. So it's just not something you want to see, like, if you're bearish. So on that one, we closed above it. So last form of like defense to the downside is this long wick right here, the midpoint. So you see how we hit it and then immediately started dropping. This is kind of like our last form of defense right here to the downside. Now we have to get through this bearish fair value gap, and we also respected the inversion fair value gap, right? The body's still inside this inversion fair value gap. I'll take the midpoint off. So just because we just disrespected this this bearish fair value gap right here, we still have two other bearish PD arrays that I'm looking for, which is this inversion fair value gap as well as the midpoint of this wick. So one PD array got disrespected, and if the other two were to get disrespected, then I would sit on the sidelines after that. But that is a good thing to see if I'm bearish. How we came up, hit the midpoint of that wick, and then immediately started dropping lower. So I need to see us get below this volume imbalance. Next. So there you go. Starting to displace lower now. I don't want to see price come back above this high. I hope you guys can see my cursor right on the screen. Did I ever backtest or forward test? I did backtest a little bit, but I gained most of my experience from just forward testing and reading price. Can you guys see my cursor or why to run for that weekly sell side. Can you see my cursor on TradingView or no? Like when I move it around. Hello? Kinda. Okay, I think you can only see the crosshair actually. I don't think you can see my actual like laptop. So let me try and make that better, easier to see. It should be easier to see. So what I was saying, I was talking about this high. We're about to hit that weekly sell side. One sec. So there's your weekly sell side from the midpoint of that wick. I want to see if we can get down to the weekly BISI as well. Let's see what ES objectives are. ES's weekly low is all the way down there, so don't know if it'll get quite down there. But we shall see. Macro ends in 3 minutes, so I wonder what we can do in these last 3 minutes. Nice trade, Isaac. You can change it to the mouse from the top left. Pass to Evo. Nice, Isaac. Good shit, good shit. Top left. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, there's your run to weekly sell side. See if it'll get to the BISI, the weekly BISI. Oops. Can we put it on the... There we go. We'll keep it on the left side. Come on, you're almost there. Just drop a little bit more. Did I trade today? Yeah, I took the short. And I just got stopped out in profit. Right there. I did not get in right there, sorry. I got in like around here when we hit this and then started dropping lower. Had my stop like around here. Not around, but I had it right there. These bodies. And then once we broke this low, I moved it to right here. So that was the original trade idea to the weekly BISI. I think we can still get there. We probably are right now. And I have a runner running for that, which is about to get hit. Should drop right now. Like on this candle. There we go. So there's your run. Am I in again? No. All you need, boys, is one and done. Exactly. Bang, nice trade. Beautiful trade. If we would have taken out this buy side and not like left the equal high, I would have got in on this fair value gap. But because of we had the buy side and we also had this fair value gap and this breaker, in the moment it did look I was 50-50. So that's why I had to wait for a later entry, which is what I did. So during a macro time, right? I'll take the rectangle off now. I'll just put the dotted line. Take that off as well. But as you guys can see, some of you may have seen like the closure outside of this SIBI and like thought like, okay, we're not going lower anymore. But that, okay, let me you guys don't need the higher time frames. But that right here, like just because it went up and disrespected this SIBI, that's only a single PD array, right? Like whenever you have a trade idea, you don't want everything just relying on a single PD array. And this is the only one with relatively equal highs. Okay, yeah, I saw that the micros the highs got taken out on the micros as well. I think last live stream I talked about how sometimes there's SMT between the mini and the micro because majority of people trade the micros. But back to what I was saying. Just because we disrespected this bearish fair value gap, your trade idea should not be running based off of a single PD array. You want to have at least 3 PD arrays that back up your trade. So like for example, mine had this bearish fair value gap, this inversion fair value gap, as well as the midpoint of this wick, which I showed you guys real time. I tried to get it to draw it out before it got hit, but it got hit and then I had to draw it out for you guys because I realized you guys can't read my mind. So so as you can see, we hit that right to the tick. Pretty sure maybe one tick above, but we hit that and then immediately started rejecting down. So that's like a very good signature you want to see. Let me see. I wonder if that's yeah, there you go, the fair value gap on a lower. This is a balance. So wicks, the reason why wicks are so powerful is because they are balanced price ranges just on a lower time frame. So on a 15-second chart, this is a balanced price range, right? So that's why it was so powerful. So we hit it, came down, and then 15-second fair value gap right there, and that's where we displaced from. So that could have been your trade on the 15-second chart. But I don't trade the 15-second chart. So you want to make sure you write that down somewhere. Keep that in mind. Wicks are the midpoint of wicks it's a very sensitive area in price because wicks are balanced price ranges. And I just showed you a live example of what I mean. Am I recording this? Yeah, I am. Giving free sauce for real. This is free sauce. But yeah, you always want to have at least 3 PD arrays writing on your trade idea, because yeah, I mean, today's conditions weren't like the best. And the only reason I'm saying that is because of the fact that we didn't take out this buy side, but on the micros we did. So maybe if I was trading micros, I would have seen it and got in here, right? But I mean, let me see. That would have been like almost the same, maybe like a little bit higher. Oh yeah, see, that was like a 1 to 3, and actually it was like up here. Yeah, it would have been like the same R. So you don't have to get the best entry, right? As long as you're taking whatever you're comfortable with, that's all that matters. With what mentorship did you first start ICT? The 2022. I always prefer normal NQ and just entering on the MAQ, but it's whatever. Yeah, same. That's what I do. That is also what I do. And we also, the reason I said like I want to see price drop on this candle into the weekly BISI was because we have this up close candle, right? Keep that in mind as I drop into the lower time frames. So we have this up close candle that we created. If we drop down 15-second chart, what do we have? Fair value gap. So that's what I was watching. You guys just couldn't see it. I was watching on a different chart on my Top Step X chart, but that's what I was watching, this fair value gap inside of the 1 minute up close candle. So that's why I said I want to see price drop on that candle, and that's why I did. What else? What else do you guys want me to talk about? Well, I also mentioned how the 15-minute SIBI was respected. Right, the bodies were respected. So even though it came all the way up here, made another relatively equal high to these highs, it still came back down and closed inside of this area. So same thing I was describing on this fair value gap over here on the left side. That's what I was like. That's what happened on the 15-minute chart on the right side. How we respected it. The bodies respected the fair value gap. And then on this drop right here, made this low, and then we started retracing, hit the midpoint of that 1 minute wick, and that created the 15-minute high, your power of 3, and then we dropped lower. When? During the macro, baby. People say you can't time the markets, bro. This shit happens every single day, I'm telling you. You just got to be able to see it. That's what I'm for. I'm here to lend you my little experience that I have of watching price live every day. So it's kind of like we're all inside of a dark tunnel, and I'm like holding a flashlight so that you can see everything. And eventually, like, the goal is for you guys to be able to hold the flashlight on your own and see everything on your own. The blind leading the blind. That's funny. How long have I been trading for? Well, I've been trading for like 2 years now, but learning ICT, it's only been like a year and a half. But that year and a half was spent like me just watching price every single day. So I think that's what gave me the most like experience, and that's what helped me with my ability to read price, was just sitting here in front of the charts every single day and just with ICT concepts in mind and just watching it happen every single day. That's what has helped me be able to see it a lot better and also have a lot more confidence in it, because at first you're not going to really have any you're not going to have that much confidence in yourself, because you're going to, well, one, you're not going to like see it that well, and two, you're going against like everyone else in the whole entire world on like how price books. So eventually, once you see it enough, you'll be like, okay, like this shit is legit. Once you see like your first like clean setup, and like once you see your first clean setup that you outlined beforehand and it actually plays out, that's when you'll like that's the deciding moment whether or not trading is for you. Because if it is, then that will be like the best moment ever. Like that'll like, I don't know, that's just like, that is what got me hooked on the trading, just simply like outlining what's gonna happen and then it actually playing out. Like when that was first happening for me, it didn't like feel real, because it's like you really just like predicted where the market was gonna go, and it did it like to the tick. Like this, like some of you guys may be like shocked about how this just came up, hit it to the tick, and then dropped lower. But like I've seen that so many times that it's like not as surprising for me anymore. But that is still like that's algorithmic. Like that cannot be random. If you're telling me that this came up, hit this to the tick basically, and then started dropping lower, like that is not random at all. But can I explain macros? Yeah. Also, you've been consistent with payouts. I've been more consistent, not as consistent as I would like to be, but I think I'm improving. What's up, Jay? How you doing, Jay? Can you give me every mentorship I watched? I just watched the ICT 2022 mentorship and like majority of the 2023, but I watched the 2023 like as it was coming out. Watch core content. Yeah, core content's good. I'll explain macros in a second. I think I've been for a year and a bit, but maybe 6-7 months with DATFX. I know it isn't here, but I like this community pretty chill. It's first 10 minutes, yeah. Just saying click. Yeah, it's not for like, obviously you want to trade what's for you, because you can make money with anything, any concepts in the market, as long as you know how to manage risk. Addicted to being profits for profit. Yo, what's up, D? What's up, Z? My guy ZC Trades. But yeah, macros are essentially, let me get rid of the 15 minutes. So the main point of this 15-minute chart is how the body is respected. But back to so a macro is basically what I see. A macro is basically a time slot where the algorithm will inject orders into the market, which will cause it to displace heavily, which is like right here. Like that is displacement. And looking at it in hindsight, my guess would be is that the algorithm injected orders right when we hit that the midpoint of this wick, and it injected sell orders, and that is when it starts selling. That's when it starts selling off, right? So basically, what I mean by injecting orders is the algorithm puts orders into the market, and it doesn't matter how many buyers, how many sellers there are, it will continuously offer lower prices, and people will be buying those because there's always going to be buyers in the market and there's always sellers. So the algorithm is offering lower prices each time, and that is what causes it to drive heavily down into our objective. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's essentially like what a macro is. Injects orders so that price can move efficiently to target. Yeah, basically. You guys got any more questions? Any more questions from this move? We also respected the midpoint of this bearish fair value gap, so that was pretty nice. That's a good signature you want to see if you're bearish. Also how this one just came up, hit it, and then came all the way back down here. Am I done for the day? Yeah, I'm done for the day. I don't trade after I've got a win. Do I mainly look at the 1 minute? No, I mainly look at the higher time frames and then the 1 minute for market structure and for entries. But everything else is based off the higher time frame, right? Like this sell side is all the way from the weekly chart, and the BISI as well. It's all from the weekly chart and the daily chart. And then everything else, I kind of just go lower, and then next thing I was looking at was a 15-minute fair value gap. And then after that was a 5-minute. We had a inversion fair value gap that we closed below, came up, used it, and that is where this is where the 1 minute 2022 model is. Right inside the 5-minute inversion fair value gap. Oh wait, that's the 4 minute, sorry. The 5 minute is right here. It's kind of hard to see with all this. Hold on, there you go. So this 5 minute gap right here, we closed below it, came up, and then pushed down. And that in that same area is where the 1 minute 2022 model is. So that was like I said, that would have been